May 19th, we celebrate Malcolm X's birthday because he was a great, great Afro-American. And Malcolm X is you, all of you. And you are Malcolm X.
I'm 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 Malcolm X. I am Malcolm X.
I am Malcolm X. I am Malcolm X.
I am Malcolm X.
I am Malcolm X.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man.
And I am a revolutionary.
On black power. On black power. I have a dream. One day, this nation will rise up to be a human being, to be respected as a human being. Be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence.
Must defend ourselves, as Malcolm X said.
By any means necessary.
Mr.X production.
What's happening, everybody? This is Mr. X. Get your head out of my pocket. I'm here with a very, very, very special guest here, and we're going to try something new with regards to our recording and our shows for YouTube. This is a YouTube exclusive special. I'm here with one of the greatest freedom fighters and revolutionaries that has ever lived, El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, aka Malcolm X. This is just going to be a great interview. I know it, and we'll go over a great many of things. And the minister has to be going, so we won't be very long. But we will go into a break to get our commercials. But I want you guys to stay around. This is going to be great. This is going to be awesome. I think you guys are going to enjoy this interview. Minister, you hold on, sir. We'll be right back. But we want to take our initial commercial breaks. Get your hand on my pocket.
Get your hand out of my pocket!
This is your main brother and one of the hosts of the new podcast, Get Your Hands Out My Pocket, letting you know if you enjoyed the show and you're a black-owned business and you want to buy ad time, email us at GYHOMP@gmail.com. That's GYHOMP@gmail.com. Peace. Welcome back to Get Your Head on My Pocket. I am Mr. X with this exclusive interview with Brother Minister Malcolm X, the national representative of the Nation of Islam, or so-called Black Muslims. Minister, I want to get right to the questioning. And a lot of black media personnel, authors, even white people, or people in the dominant society would say, isn't it more practical for a Negro individually to, get his so-called due? Don't you think if individually education was given and pushed in the homes of black community and just trying to get along with whites, do you think that's more of an option, an easier option, if you want to say, the road less traveled, coming from an individual standpoint?
The problem isn't personal and it's not individual. Our problem is collective. And just as Negroes suffer collectively from the collective attitude of white people in this country, you can't approach it on an individual basis. And this is where whites make their mistakes today. You should ask the Negroes who are being bitten by dogs after professing love for white people. If you notice, they accused Mr. Muhammad of teaching hate. Well, Martin Luther King teaches Negroes to love all white people, no matter what they do to you, and the same whites whom he teaches Negroes to love sick dogs on him, sick dogs on their children, dogs on their women, and dogs on their babies. So I think it's very hypocritical on the part of whites to accuse Mr. Muhammad of a hate teacher because he says separation, and then sick dogs on Martin Luther King, who is teaching integration. It means that no matter what the Negro does, he is not going to get along with white. So I think that Mr. Muhammad's whole philosophy is more intelligent than Mr. King's.
So, Minister, the question becomes really, how do you feel about white people? And, you know, how does the members of the nation feel about white people?
Well, as Muslims, we judge a man according to his behavior, according to his conscientious behavior. And you'll find that all of the injustices that black people are crying out against in this country are being inflicted upon them by whites. It is the whites who are depriving our people of civil rights. It is whites who are depriving our people of implementing what the Supreme Court decision said should be implemented. Wherever black people turn, they are facing the hostility of whites, so that when you get the collective pulse beat of Negroes in this country, you'll get a truer picture of how our people think. You can't go up to an individual and ask him, what does he think? How do all of you think who are catching hell collectively at the hands of white people collectively?
Minister, could you give us a backdrop of the tenets of the Nation of Islam, just a brief overview of the program with which you so eloquently expound upon?
Our religion teaches us that there is but one God, the creator of the universe, the supreme being, and that all prophets came from that God. The Christians refer to him, I think, as Christ. The Jews call him Jehovah. Muslims know that his name is Allah. And Islam, in its essence, means complete submission to God. Any Jew that practices his religion rightly is practicing the Muslim religion. Anyone who practices the teachings of Jesus is practicing the Muslim religion. I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American, or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people. We don't teach hate. Mr. Muhammad teaches the truth, and he teaches that our people should unite among ourselves and try and solve our own problems instead of trying to force ourselves upon whites and blame them for our plight.
Well, I think, Minister, as I asked earlier in the interview, your thoughts about white people. Do you hate the white man? I mean, how often is it that you think about the white man and what he's done? I think that is the big question that most people want to know. Do you hate the white man?
The white man doesn't even come into my attitude. Mr. Muhammad teaches us to love our own kind and let the white man take care of himself. For a white man today, sir, after kidnapping millions of black people from Africa, stripping them of all human characteristics and relegating them to the role of chattel or cattle or animals, commodity, merchandise that could be bought and sold at will, and then 100 years since the Emancipation Proclamation, using every type of deceptive method to further us into slavery, called second-class citizenship, I think that it would take a whole lot of nerve for white people today to ask Negroes, do they hate them?
Get your hand out of my pocket!
See, remember now, don't confuse the cultural nationalism with the organic nationalism. And I know y'all see this a lot in the hip-hop community. Brothers got the dashiki, hair lock, African name, been the Kemet. But what you doing for black folk? You dressing the dress. Take that Halloween costume off. And what are you doing for black folk? Because it's easy to look cultural. It's easy to be black during Kwanzaa. It's easy to be black, during Black History Month. It's easy to be black when you're around all black folk. But do you speak truth to power when you're around white folk? See, I'm looking for the organic people because this whole Hotep thing, we are disrespecting black consciousness in black culture by not doing anything besides spreading the information. That's all you hear. Information. Go on YouTube. Information. That's good. We need knowledge itself, but we need institutions. Where's the hospital, brother? Where's the shipping line? Where's the distribution network? Don't just keep Hotepping me to death. Give me something that's going to help the people, because if all you got is information, you know better than the church. We keep talking about how the church is just swamming black folks. You doing the same thing. The pastor preaching and you preaching. You ain't got nothing for the people, and neither do the pastor.
Get your hand out of my pocket!
We're back. This is Mr. X, Get Your Head Out of My Pocket. I'm here with Brother Minister Malcolm X. Brand new interview. I believe this is for the Malcolm X fans who know you, love you, and respect you. Have a familiarity with your history and what you've done with black people, for black people, and with this country of the Africans in the diaspora. I kind of want to start with the line of questioning, more so to after your break with the Nation of Islam. And one thing I certainly don't know, and I'm sure the masses of Malcolm X fans don't know, is, what were you trying to do in terms of after you left the Nation of Islam? Was there another progressive movement that you try to make, or was it something that you were trying to attack white America or have a different type of movement? What exactly were you trying to do? Was that something that you were trying to do?
No, I don't think I'm equipped to initiate a new movement, but it's my intention to take the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and make them work on a broader level.
Minister, you've mentioned several times before, uncountless times, in fact, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the most bravest and trusted and known black man in the world. And I guess the majority of people out there will want to know why leave his steed.
Well, I have been able to see for some time that it's that I do run into obstacles in trying to help him within the movement. So I want to help him just that bad, it's just that much. So it's my intention to try and do it now in the only way that I know how. And I think I can do it better without the restrictions that I would run into by being a part of the Muslim movement in this country. That is, the Muslim movement as it now exists.
Minister, going back to that time, when you left the Nation of Islam, it's believed and widely believed that it was the comments you made about John F. Kennedy, which kind of started the entire rift. But one of the biggest things that bothered white America and a lot of black folks who voted John F. Kennedy in was that you were excited or happy that the president was killed. You wasn't happy that the president was killed, were you?
No, my subject that day was God's judgment of white America. And I showed the different incidents that had been building up, step by step, the fulfillment of prophecy, and that all of these things that were taking place were the result of some seeds that were badly sown, or some bad seeds that were sown. And the death of the president I referred to as the result of other things, a combination of things. And surprisingly, this is what the whole country was saying, that it was a climate of hate. So chickens coming home to roost means the same thing.
So now that you're gone from the Nation of Islam, Minister, where are you going to go now? Are you going to start another organization? Are you going to join up with another organization? From what I understand, several organizations that will not be named at this time were recruiting you. What exactly is your plans upon leaving the nation?
There's been a rumor that I was trying to split the Muslim movement, and this is not the case. My work will be among the non-Muslim so-called Negroes in this country, and I have encouraged, to the best of my ability, all of the Muslims who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the Nation of Islam to remain his followers in the Nation of Islam, behind his spiritual guidance.
Well, Minister Malcolm, this has been an excellent interview, and I greatly appreciate you spending some time with me at the Get Your Hand Out My Pocket studios. I have one last question. as this was a very short interview, and I'm sure you're used to much longer interviews. But one thing black people and Negroes, as you know, have had a problem with was people looking for better status, and the so-called leaders of the Negro people, which direction should they lead them in? Who appoints them? These are questions that arise. But as far as moving forward, what advice could you give the so-called Negro leaders? What steps can we take? Any parting shots of any kind? But more importantly, what direction can we take now at this time without you around?
Well, the Negro is probably the most powerful political group in this country, the Negro minority, so-called Negro minority. But we get less from our potential political power than any other group in this country, because the Negro leader, he sells us out. The Negro political leader sells us out for crumbs. He thinks that the white politician, the only thing the white politician has to do is make a few appointments, give big jobs to big Negroes, and this is supposed to solve the problem, while the masses of Negroes are still living in the slums and the ghettos, still unemployed and still suffering poor school facilities.